Coach Nate Oates, we'll start with some opening thoughts on today's game.
Yeah, I thought our effort was a whole lot better. I think we've improved a lot over the 3 days we've been here. I mean, that's what we're trying to do is get better. So, if it took a loss to Stanford to get the guys where they needed to be, then that's what it took. So, there's 3 teams left this deal, 2-1. We're one of the 3. I think we played really good basketball the last 2 nights. I think we got better every single game out. Tonight it didn't start out great, but they had some tough shots. Our guys just stayed the course after going down 8-zip. I think we went on a 17-3 run, never gave up the lead from there. So this is a strong, tough. Coach Cooley does a great job. I've known him for a while. He recruited my kids when I was at Romulus. His teams always are hard-playing, tough teams. And I told our guys, we're going to have to out-rebound them. We can't get out-rebounded like we did the last 2 nights. And they answered the bell. We out-rebounded them 48-28. So I thought our guys stepped up in areas they need to step up in. We had 5 guys in double figures, pretty balanced. It's Petty's birthday today. He led us in scoring with 16, but we had 2 other guys with 15. I think Primo's getting more and more comfortable in the offense, more and more comfortable playing high-level basketball. His shooting 3 of 6 back-to-back games. I really 8 for 12 as a team in the second half. So, it's going to win us a lot of games. So maybe it was first game jitters. I don't know what it was against Stanford, but we didn't quite play as hard as we needed to, and we didn't shoot as well as we need to. But we're starting to click, I think, now.
Thank you, Coach. We'll go ahead and take a question for either Herb Jones or Coach Oates at this time. We'll start with Tony Tsoukalas.
Yeah, Nate, can you talk about Herb's as an offensive player? We've really kind of seen him kind of add that to his game this season.
Yeah, I mean, he went 1 for 1 at the line. He's 2-2 or from the 3-point line, 2 for 2 at the free throw line. He spent a ton of time in the gym all off season. I've been telling you guys all fall that he's really trying to be a pro, and I think he starts hitting jumpers like he's hitting them right now, and he's playing a lot of point guard. When Quinterly comes out, Herb's our point. He's a 6'8" point guard that can handle the ball. We'll get the turnovers cleaned up here, but he had 5 assists, 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He's going to get a triple-double this year. I mean, he's been playing as good as anybody on our team through the first 3 months of practice here. So really happy to see the shots go down for him, see the hard work pay off.
Next question goes to Tyler Martin.
Yeah, this is for Herb. Herb, just, can I talk about your performance tonight? And then, 2, what did you learn about your teammates over these 3 days, able to overcome what happened Monday night and then capitalize against UNLV Tuesday night and to come out and perform like that tonight?
Well, tonight, I came out and I just let the game come to me. I didn't try to force anything. I think I tried to force a lot the first game, and I came out and just played basketball the way I know how. And over this 3-day span, my teammates, I just seen them respond to whatever coach needed us to do. Like after the first game, he challenged us to be tougher and play harder, and that's what we all came out and did.
Let's go to Mike Rodak. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, for Nate, you mentioned the 15 points there from Primo. When you go back to the summer when he first got here, just how much did you anticipate that sort of contribution or impact in the sort of minutes that he's gotten?
You know what? I don't. I thought he was good. I mean, he came in. I thought he was really good early in the summer. He had an injury with his hip that kind of sidelined him for a month and a half, and I think he's been trying to recover from that. I think he's finally getting back to full speed because I thought he was really good in the summer. So I'm not surprised by it at all. He's a good shooter. He's 6'6". He plays hard. He's tough. He's physical. He can rebound it. So he's giving us really good minutes off the bench. And I've told our guys we probably have 7 or 8 starters. I mean, you look at Rojas and Primo and Alex Reese. I thought Reese was great tonight. Came in, not just making shots. I like that doesn't concern me as much with him. I know he's going to make some shots and miss some shots other games. It was his defense. I thought he did as good a job as anybody on our team. I thought he did the best job on Nate Watson to the point where, they took him out of the game and didn't put him back in with like 10 minutes to go. He only had 4 fouls. He didn't foul out, and he was a load to handle. We were really worried about him. In the first half, I think he had 13 points in 8 minutes. Well, he into the game with 4 points in the second half. So I thought a lot of that was due to Alex Reese's defense on him in the second half.
Go with Steve Moulton next.
Coach, after the first game, you mentioned effort there in particular. And here, the last 2 games, how would you kind of grade the effort that your team showed the last 2 games, Coach?
Yeah, much, much better. We've always charted blue collar points. This year we started charting blue collar points for us and the opponent to make sure, and we've significantly outscored the opponent in blue collar points, both of these last two games. So really happy with it. Herb got the hard hat both these last two games. He's kind of all over the place with deflections and blocks and rebounds and steals. But, the whole team as a whole, I mean, shoot, I think even I love Juwan Gary's block at the end. And we have a turnover. He chases the kid down. They ended up calling it a goaltend. But the effort that he gave, like, that makes me want to play him more. It shows, like, I think he's recovered fairly well from the knee. That's the kind of player we want out there that's going to play hard, give an effort, no matter how much we're up or down. Even the Stanford game, I thought we still competed at the end when we were down a lot, and they had hit some tough shots. So I like where our group's at right now.
Next question goes to Aaron Beard of the Associated Press.
Hey, Nate, I did want to ask you, now that you've had a couple games with no fans in the stands, this different environment, cutouts, crowd noise, all of it, has it caused you to change anything in your approach on the sideline during a game and how you manage players with energy and so forth?
You know what? I just think it's even more important that our bench is really into it to kind of create some energy during the games. We haven't changed a whole lot. I mean, it's easier to pick up play calls. We've got couple hundred plays, so whatever, they can pick up some of our calls if they want. They'll have a hard time sorting through them all. But some of the teams that run like a dozen sets, we're able to pick those up pretty quick and sit on them. So it's a little easier with the noise. It's easier for me to get the plays called. But as far as playing energy and stuff, like, if you're a player, you're going to play. I mean, should we watch the NBA playoffs? Those guys that are making a lot of money played hard with nobody in the stands. So if nobody's in the stands, we're still going to bring it. The energy's got to be a little bit more from the bench than maybe it typically would have been.
We got time for a couple more questions. Let's start with Steve.
Herb, if you could speak to the communication of this team. Coach mentioned it last night that you guys were talking at halftime and really came out in the second half with a lot of steam in the win over UNLV. It felt like, again, the second half, the first 5-6 minutes, you guys picked up some steam. So tell me about the communication that you guys do during halftime.
I mean, we just talk about not like going back to what we used to do last year. I think we used to come out like in the second half kind of sluggish last year, and we kind of preached that to the younger guys and like the new guys that's on the team, that the first 4 minutes or the first 6 minutes of the first half are the most important, and it sets the tone. So, like, at halftime, we just tell them to come out with as much energy as we came out with at the beginning of the game.
Any other questions? Looks like Steve, you got a follow-up here. Go ahead.
I do. For Coach, what do you think you learned most about your team in this 3-day, playing 3 days in a row, about your team?
How hard you have to play, how hard it is to get a win in high major basketball, and the attention to detail that it takes to get a win. I mean, you let up for 1/2 second on the defensive end, you give up a three. You do that 3-4 times, you give up the threes we gave up to Stanford, and you put the game out of reach. So I think our guys, we practice hard, but games are different than practice. There's a level that you got to bring to a game to win at this level, and I didn't think we had it. And I think we do have it now. I think we've grown a lot in that area in the last 3 days. And if it took a loss to Stanford to get us to where we need to be, then that's what it is. But I think we got a really good team. I'm looking forward to what we do against Clemson. And what do we got? About 10 days. We're against Clemson, I think.
Any other questions for either Herb or Coach? All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone. We now have Providence joining us. We will begin with an opening statement from Coach Cooley. We will then have questions for David Duke, and then we'll go back to questions for Coach. Coach, want to start us off?
Thank you. Hope everybody's well. Where do you start? First you got to give credit to Alabama. They did exactly what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. We were a half step slow today on all levels, guarding the ball, anticipation, got manhandled on the glass, got manhandled in transition. Very, very disappointed in our performance. We got a long way to go to become the team we want to become. Hopefully we can stay healthy from this virus and build a team because right now we're nowhere near ready to compete in the Big East to be a factor in that league. So that's my opening statement. You guys can talk to David and I'll answer some questions when I come back. But right now, Friar's got a long way to go.
Yeah, David, I'll start. It's Kevin. Do you think the group as a whole just wasn't ready to play tonight, or do you think you got tired? It seemed as if Alabama was a couple steps ahead of you guys.
Yeah, I can take some responsibility in not really getting the guys as prepared as I should. As a leader, that's your job. You got to inspire your group. You got to inspire the key guys to come out and give us a spark off the jump. And I think tonight I didn't do that well, and that just trickled down. That put Coach in a tough spot to try a lot of different lineups. So yeah, I think I'll take that one, and I just got to be better in inspiring the guys and motivating them to come out with that sense of urgency.
What did you learn about your team on this trip?
That we are a long way from where we want to be. That there are some good things that we saw, but as you can tell, there were a lot of bad things, and there's just some things that we need to clean up, and we're going to take that, go back, practice, and prepare for our next opponent. But everything from all the losses, we can just take a bunch of lessons and fix them. Like we said, we're a long way from where we want to be, so we just gotta chip away and try to get there.
Hey, David, Tyler Martin of BamaCentral here. Just got a quick question for what makes, playing Alabama, their system up and down, a lot of threes. What made them so hard to defend tonight?
Like Coach said, they did exactly what they wanted to do, run, get a lot of threes up. And, tonight they hit a lot of threes, and, credit to them for shooting the ball really well. I think, we didn't get back in transition as well. And, when the other team is making threes, that can, hurt the energy of a group. And we just needed to find guys to really lock in and, take pride in, defending the ball, defending the driver, close out, don't get blown by and things like that. But, tonight we just failed to do that. So that was all it was.
David, you mentioned the good stretches of play that you guys had on the offensive end and some of the lapses there. What's the challenge to be able to try to string that together for, 5, 6, 7 possessions at a time and hopefully string something together?
I think that comes with, IQ, just, knowing what you're doing when you're on the floor. Also, chemistry, knowing who's good at what, putting guys in position for them to succeed. And, we want to score off our defense. So, when we're getting stops, that's when we're more confident on offense. When, we're not getting so many stops, then, it's really tough on the offensive end. You put a lot of pressure to put the ball in the basket when you can't stop the other team from scoring. So, I think that's one thing that'll help us on the offensive end. It starts with us on our defensive side.
David, what can you take out of the stretch where, you fall behind by, 20 in the second half and you shaved it down to 11 in terms of the guys that came in? Is there something you can, a positive you can take out of that?
Yeah, credit to them. They were ready when the number was called. Coach went with the lineup that he trusted. And, we went out there and just tried to give it all we got. And, unfortunately, they weren't able to get over that little hump, but we did, show some fight in there for that, little segment. So credit to those guys that came in and really gave us a spark.
Hey, David, you guys had some issues last year in non-conference this time of the year, and obviously rallied to have a really strong to the end of the season. Does that give you any confidence that a slow start doesn't determine your finish?
I'll never give up on the team no matter what. No matter what happens, I'll never give up on the team. So, regardless, we just focusing on the next opponent. That's all we got to do.
Great. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
All right. We'll now take questions for Coach Cooley.
Fire away, man. Ladies.
Hey, Ed, it's Aaron Beard with the Associated Press. I was curious the experience of having 3 games with no fans, crowd noise, cutouts. It's a different vibe. Does it affect anything you do? Does it change anything you do with calling plays so the other team doesn't, maybe hear it, trying to get energy out of your guys? Is there something different about it?
Being the 4th game, honestly, it really doesn't factor in. The first game was probably the toughest, but for me coaching the group, no, nothing. I don't feel any change, that's maybe a question more for the players, but I don't feel a change at all. It's a great question, yet I can't. I don't recognize the fans.
Hey, Coach. Alabama was one of the fastest teams in the country last year. Of course, after 3 games, you guys were looking a little tired tonight. What was it like having to adjust to Alabama's pace of play after 3 games in 3 days?
Yeah, they're very, very hard to play. Play that tempo. And when you play teams like that, you got to try to control it on offense. But if you're not making shots and you're giving up second shots, it's not like they shot a scintillating percentage. They just, they got 20 offensive rebounds. I got to do a better job coaching my team defensively. Right now we're just not very good defensively, and that's very odd for a team that we coach. Our staff thrives on it, and they took advantage of us in every way. We were a half step slow to everything. So give them credit. They played the way they wanted to play. They executed. They made shots. They rebounded the ball. Long way to go for us to be a good basketball team.
Coach, what kind of importance is this going to now put on with Fairleigh Dickinson coming up? How do you get this thing turned around in 2 days?
Well, the good thing is we're going to play another game. I'm not very happy with how we played in this tournament at all. I'm happy we came away with at least a win. Yet, there are so many holes right now on our team. We have to figure out as a staff, rotation. We got to figure out, what combinations work well. At the end of the day, we need to play some tough kids that know what they're going to do, that know systematically how we want to play. To get beat by 20 rebounds is just embarrassing. I promise you we'll be ready to play on whatever our next game is. We'll be ready. We'll be prepared.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.